Hi, I'm Annie Ulichny, and I want to thank you for joining in for some meditation and mindfulness practices today. So, the question I have is, are we letting emotions and things from the past still live within us now? And I'm not talking about deep grief and tragic types of things. I'm talking about frustrations that we just can't seem to let go of, that keep looping around and around in our thoughts. And those things still live within us through tension and tightness in the body. Just like thoughts are invisible, the tension and tightness that the thoughts create in the body, we don't see it, but it's very much a part of our tense and tightness within the body structure as a course of our daily lives. We just don't see it, but we can feel it. And so meditation helps us by pointing us to this felt sense of tightness and tension and how we can work with it and release it and let it go. And I'll explain a type of scenario I'm talking about and see if you can't relate. A few months ago, we were on a family vacation, and an experience happened with one of the individuals we were working with while we were away, and it was very frustrating, and it felt like we were really being taken advantage of, and it caused us a lot of frustration, and specifically me. And that was something that happened a number of months ago, and it's over, it's done with. I can't change the situation. But interestingly, this week, something else was happening, and it triggered that thought of something from a few months ago, this experience when we were on a trip. And that thought just started looping in my thinking mind. And it was just over the course of a few hours, I noticed I just really couldn't shake this thing that had happened a few months ago. It was still very much a part of starting to loop and then gather steam and create even more other experiences and thoughts and frustrations as they kind of gather around it and magnify. And it really kind of can put us into a bad mood. It can really create more tension and frustration in the body, and it's unnecessary. I don't need that. So I was pointed to the fact that this was happening, and I could stop and really work with that situation, work with the practices that I know, and just release it and let it go. And voila, make up for a much happier day. And meditation really helps us to see the nature of our thoughts and how unhealthy and unhappy we are because of them, and how we can, for ourselves, take a little more control of that situation and release the thoughts that really don't serve us at all anymore. So that's what we're going to work with. And the analogy that I'm going to use here right before we get started with our practice is the curiosity I want us to think about with the feelings in the body and our thoughts, these negative, frustrating thoughts about daily occurrences that happen that still affect us, even if it was yesterday or a few months ago or last year. It's like when you open the refrigerator door and something stinky in there that's obviously gone bad, and you have to look for it somewhere in the refrigerator, find it. Is it in this container? Is it in this container? Where is it? And then you find it and you can compost it or dispose of it, and it's a great feeling, right? So we're going to look for and be curious, just like when we have something in the refrigerator that's past its due date. And that's how we're going to work with these frustrating experiences in our thoughts that also affect our body. So I encourage you to take your comfortable posture. If you like to lay down for this practice as well, you can do that if it's more comfortable. But if you do that, just keep your knees up and touching each other, in contact with each other, so your feet are on the floor. And you can find a comfortable laying down posture. If you're seated, we're going to breathe in and out of the nose for the whole practice. We're going to have our eyes closed down, and I am too, right here. And we're going to have our hands on our legs. Just feel your fingers just draping right over somewhere on your legs so that your arms are really comfortable and your shoulders can relax. And we're just going to start to move closer and closer and closer to ourself. And we'll start by really expanding our mind's capacity to focus and be very aware, right? We have these two capacities of the mind, the thinking capacity, this stream of thoughts, this inner voice, and then we have this ability to focus. And we're really going to expand our focus and just let that inner voice kind of go in the background right now for a bit. Using our focus will come right into our spine. We'll start with our spine here and just really investigate from our tailbone up to the back of our head, feeling along the spine. So if we start at the back of our head, can we feel any sensations here? Can we notice that we have a very upright and dignified posture if we're sitting up? And our spine is so much a part of our integrity, our dignity, and why this upright posture is really so important as we practice. Feeling down the neck, in between the shoulder blades. Can we feel any sensations along the spine? As we get started here and just start to expand our aware, present focus. And we'll use our spine. Any tingling, even any discomfort that we might feel along the spine as we travel down the mid-back, down to the lower back, and to the tailbone. I'm starting to experience just a little more tingling along my spine as I bring my focus here. And then we can also just check in with the front body as well. The back body is strong and solid, filled with integrity. And our front body is soft, open, vulnerability through our torso, from our clavicle bones, moving down through our chest, our heart area. We're soft and caring in our front body. Can we notice this difference between the back and the front? Down through our rib cage and our belly, down to below the belly button in the lowest part of our belly. There's a softness here. Just start to experience and feel the body. Become more and more familiar with the personalities that are really running in different body parts. And we're going to use our breath. We're going to, again, expand our focus. Use our breath to bring us into body parts. It really helps us to keep us focused in the present. And explore the different body parts and then use the exhale to release. So we'll expand and inhale into our feet. We'll come in through the soles of our feet, really feeling as we breathe in, really plunge our focus into our feet. Feel what's happening. Soles, toes, tops of feet, the Achilles, the arch. Exploring and then making an intentional exhale, release on the exhale, and a letting go through the feet. Breathing in, feeling through the ankles and the shins and the calves and the bones and the lower leg up to the knees, up through the thighs, feeling what's here. Really stay focused, bringing our full experience into our legs right now with our focus. Breathing in, feeling the strength of the legs. We might also feel pockets of discomfort through joints. Knees typically do have some discomfort. Breathing in as we're then exploring, feeling sensations, noticing a tingling aliveness, noticing also possibly intertwined with that is pockets of discomfort. And then making an intentional exhale, release. Release, allow the legs to soften. Open. Release any tightness. Coming up through the pelvis and the lower back, the lower belly. Feeling what's here in this area that feels a lot of weight of our whole body, our upper body, as when we're seated like this. Feeling what's here, feeling the contact with the chair you're sitting on or laying down on. Through the pelvis, through the lower belly and the back. Exploring the sensations here. And then just letting go and release. And can we make ourselves even a little bit heavier? A little heavier so we're just a little bit more relaxed and open and soft. Allowing gravity to just hold us here securely, safely. Coming up through the torso, in the front body and the back body, coming up, imagining we could really see and view our organs, the liver, kidneys, lungs, intestines, heart. Really feel what's in our whole torso area up to our clavicle bone. Really feeling the awesomeness of all of these organs. Every cell within these organs all have a very specific job to do, and they all know what that job is. The wisdom of our body is incredible. Feeling what's here, feeling tingling, bubbling, electrical, maybe twinges of discomfort, and then make an intentional exhale, and it's a letting go, releasing, opening, softening kind of an exhale. Coming up through the shoulders, down the arms, into the hands. Feeling through the palms, fingers, wrist, joints, up to the shoulders. Feeling what's here on the in-breath. Acknowledging that mixture, the yin and the yang of the openness as well as any pockets of discomfort. Release and let go on the exhale. Coming up through the head, through the back of the head, up to the top of the skull, the forehead, eyes, jaw, throat. we might feel tension in the forehead, tightness in the jaw, ache around the eyes, a rawness in our throat. Those are simply words to describe possibilities, and you may find just the right word or description for yourselves. These are just possibilities. Breathing in as we explore, become more familiar with where our body holds this emotional tension from our thinking mind. Feeling it, and then inviting a release and a letting go, softening, a melting away of anything on the letting go, opening up. We could take a few breaths together, about a count of 4 on the inhale and the exhale. And I want these breaths to be as caring and kind for ourselves as if we were holding a tiny, teeny, tiny baby animal, tiny baby in the palms of our hand. So we're really offering these breaths, these inhales and exhales, as smooth, slow, intentional care for ourselves. So that is what the attitude is for these breaths for ourselves. So we'll inhale 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, finding your own rhythm of kindness, softness, smoothness for yourself. Exhaling, being really present with the breath. Inhale and exhale. And we can release that and let the breath breathe itself, feeling into the body, checking in. How am I doing right now? How do I feel? And then we can invite an experience up, like the one I described, being on a vacation and having an experience where we were taken advantage of. Whatever that experience, it could be a conversation you had with a relative, a neighbor, an experience you had driving, doing errands, and it really triggered and bothered us. Something that maybe we can't quite shake. We still think about it, or it loops in our head. Come back to that experience as if it's happening right now again, just bringing it back up. This isn't a big life experience. It's one of those frustrations, but it can point us to patterns of these kinds of frustrations for ourselves. And it's really useful to find something that's happened, it's over, it's done with, but sometimes we just can't quite shake it. Bringing it up as if you're experiencing it again. And notice in the body what starts to feel tight, frustrating, when we bring that experience back up, that conversation, that activity that happened, whatever it is for you. Maybe you notice where you automatically get tight and clenched in the body. And if there's somewhere specific you really feel it, or a general body part that you really feel this tightness that starts to develop when we re-experience a frustrating event, can we go and be with it? Perhaps it's felt alone, that we've been so caught up in the story of it in our head that the body has been left alone to handle this. And now we can bring our focus into the body and be with it, hold it. Like that tiny little baby, can we bring care and kindness right up to that specific or general body part that feels the tightness. We're getting deeper below the story within the thinking mind, and honoring and opening to that frustration, that feeling of blame or not good enough, unworthiness, feeling taken advantage of, not seen, not heard. These kinds of things are usually what trigger these stories to go around and around in our head. Can we go and befriend what is below the story, finding it in the body, recognizing the experience pointed to something like being taken advantage of or not seen, some kind of doubt. Can we hold that in the palm of our hands or hug it like we would if it was a tiny little baby animal? So gentle and kind. Can we bring our own kindness that we have running through our body, bring it to ourselves, to our bodies, to the tightness and the tension that's triggered in the body from these experiences that we have, that still live within us. Notice how when we can bring kindness and comfort to ourselves, hold ourselves in this way, the tight pockets move, change, shift, open, and release. It's time to compost them, just like something in our refrigerator. So take another few breaths in and out in a very slow, calming rhythm. As slow and as silent and as smooth and caring as possible. Inhaling as if, again, we're holding ourselves, but we could think of the image of a small, tiny baby animal. Inhaling, smooth, exhaling, releasing, letting go. Inhaling, holding ourselves with so much care and kindness. Exhaling, releasing, letting go. We've made friends with something significant within ourselves that needed a little attention. We've befriended some part of us that needed this for just a few minutes, and we can release those negative storylines at the same time. So you can open your eyes, give yourself a big stretch, up and down. And you don't have to live with some of these things any longer. Thank you so much. It's a privilege and a gift to share practices together to make us happier, healthier souls.